I'm not sure how this isn't a foul, but we'll take a look. It's got to be a foul.
It certainly does not, Chris. The only thing more inconsistent than NFL officiating are my weekly power rankings.
Jackass!
The Packers upset the Chiefs with an uncredited assist from the officials. The 49ers have all of the Infinity Stones. The Colts and Titans gave us the best game this week. And Jake Browning gave the entire football world the shocker. Shocked us. But today, I will bring you the real winners and losers from Week 13 in the NFL right after the Blop 10 plays. A segment so exciting, it united the Supreme Court for its first unanimous ruling. Their verdict? The Blop 10 will never be aborted. Blop 10. Will Levis throws a fumble that looks like a pick and then forces/recovers the fumble. That's the best defensive play the Titans made all game. And since we're talking about Levis, let's sneak in his helicopter, which I award the Titans Twitter account the Medal of Honor for being brave enough to tweet, "He's levistating." No bigger risk out there than puns. Look, Will, I'm sorry, but you're just not John Elway. You're closer to Sage Rosenfels. Number 9, Myles Garrett got his helmet stuck on a Rams lineman's face mask, which looks like a real-life Madden glitch. Blop 8, DeAndre Swift gets absolutely blopped going across the middle. Thank God the officiating crew didn't throw a flag there.
It's over the middle. Oh my goodness.
Blop 7, self-aware Chris Collinsworth.
There'll be people excited I'm not going to mention Patrick Mahomes. You've been reading my Twitter, I think.
That means he's seen all of your South Park jizz memes, your fellatio memes. He's seen them all. And hats off to him for having the courage to keep doing it anyway. Number 6, had Cincy lost, this dumb play call would be Blop 1. Jake Browning out there dealing and you call for a trick play? And Tyler Boyd, just run or throw it away. Your dreams, Tyler, of being an emergency quarterback are dead. And starting QBs they're dropping like flies, Tyler. Number 5, finally, a referee with the courage to say butt cheeks on live TV.
It says butt cheek in inbound.
Considering Terry McCauley could only stomach vocalizing the words rear end,
Part of his rear end absolutely hit the ground with control. It says butt cheek.
I think this is a small stepping stone to eventually saying cock gobbler on Thanksgiving. Blop 4, 49ers linebacker Dre Greenlaw was ejected for power pointing, as was Eagles security guard Dom DeSandro for allowing his face to be power pointed.
PowerPoint, PowerPoint, PowerPoint.
An Eagles security guard, the man whose job it is to protect the players, was ejected for shoving an opposing player. That is the most on-brand Philly thing since... Number 3, wrong calls. All of the terrible officiating at the end of the Chiefs-Packers game. A clean hit inbounds on Mahomes. That got flagged. An improper stoppage of the clock as KC went out of bounds backwards after forward progress had been stopped. Huge considering they had no timeouts. And a very clear and obvious pass interference on MVS that was not called. But the Hail Mary? Hell no. That's a good no call. Nobody wants to see pass interference on Hail Marys. Patrick Mahomes agrees.
The guy was probably a little early, but at the end of the game, they're letting guys play. I'm kind of about that. You let the guys play and let the guys win it on the field.
Mahomes probably realizes that if he did publicly criticize a referee, Chris Collinsworth would see that as an invitation to burn that ref's house down. Chiefs fans, you get to fuck the refs. Packers fans, you get to fuck the refs. Only available at BenchwarmerBrew.com. Put this in Grandma's stocking so she too can F the refs. Number 2, the Colts block a punt, recover, score the touchdown, then decide to go for 2, which then gets intercepted and taken back for the very elusive pick 2. New rule, if the special team scores a touchdown, they should also get to try the 2-point conversion so the offense doesn't mess it up for them. And the Blop 1, Gardner Minshew celebrating after the victory. That's how it feels to know this season guarantees you another decade of paychecks in the NFL.
We're so dysfunctional, but still inseparable.
And my Blop 0, Deontay Johnson choreographing this elaborate touchdown celebration after getting a garbage time TD while his team was getting absolutely worked by the Cardinals. I proudly declare Deontay Johnson the least aware player in the NFL. This better affect his Madden awareness rating. In fact, I think Johnson's Madden character should have Myles Garrett's helmet permanently attached to his face mask. All right, my first winner, me. Because I forgot the Jets and Falcons game even happened. Final score, Atlanta 13, Jets 18. The first and only score in the first quarter was the Jets dropping Bijan Robinson for a safety. Losing stat? The Jets have more first quarter safeties than first quarter touchdowns this season. Gross. The game was so bad that the Jets benched Tim Boyle in favor of Trevor Siemian, and somehow Desmond Ridder was probably more deserving of being benched than Timmy Boyle, which is the meanest thing I've ever said about Desmond Ridder. Siemian was sacked 3 times on just 13 passing attempts, and Atlanta, with 4 first-round skill position players, if you include Patterson, totaled less than 200 yards of offense. Winners, the Detroit Lions, for jumping out to a 21-0 lead courtesy of David Montgomery Burns. The Saints defense, rookie phenom Sam Laporta and Amon Ra. St. Brown scoring touchdowns in the first quarter. Laporta's 140 yards was the most of any tight end this week. Hell, even Jamison Williams found the end zone on a reverse. Losers, the Detroit Lions with the lead. I know the Lions are trying to shake off 30 years of losing, but I've never seen a team look so uncomfortable after amassing big leads in games. Watching them with the lead is like watching a 40-year-old man try and ski for the first time. Derek Carr was concussed. People love Jameis Winston because he's weird, I guess, because he sucks at football.
The Jameis experience never fails!
Winning stat? Jimmy Graham, 2 catches on the season, 2 touchdowns. That's the definition of efficiency. And I know Kyle Pitts is looking at that stat line and absolutely losing his fucking gourd. Chiefs, Packers, loser, A.J. Dillon, who noted that he attended Quad Squad University.
A.J. Dillon, Quad Squad University.
God, I hope he gets a second NFL contract because I don't think his communications degree from Quad Squad University is real or holds any merit in the world of business. Now look, I was going to hype the Packers defense after sacking Patty Mahomes 3 times in the first half. Truly an impressive feat, but they followed that with 0 in the second half. Instead, I'm giving winning throws and catches to Jordan Love, Romeo Doubs, and Christian Watson. Wisconsin's favorite thruple. Dare I say Shakespearean love triangle.
What is it, threesome?
The first was this moonball to Romeo on 4th and 1, which Collinsworth did compare to cornhole for some reason.
He must be really good at cornhole, I'll say that.
2 plays later, Love fires one to Watson in the back of the end zone with a grown-ass man grab for a touchdown. A key touchdown in that game. My winning QB? My heart wants to give this to Jordan Love, but I think it's Brock Purdy this week. Not only did Purdy throw more touchdown passes than any QB with 4, boasting the highest passer rating at 148.8, he did it against the Eagles in the ultimate revenge game on the road in prime time in wet conditions. The Eagles may not care that you broke your elbow, but Purdy may want to thank the Eagles for that from last season because I genuinely think his arm got stronger. No, seriously, it might have actually turned him into an X-Men character. And since I'm already mildly attracted to Purdy, let's just say it's Storm. Yeah, it's Storm, all right. Purdy was perfect against the Bucs and was damn near immaculate against the top team in the NFL on the road, throwing for 4 tutties and 314 yards and nary a turnover in the process. And you might be saying, yeah, but most of those yards were yak by Deebo Samuel. And that's true, but yak is a skill. And I know that because I have to watch Russell Wilson play quarterback every week. Look, if you're still worrying about whether this is Kyle Shanahan's doing or Brock Purdy lighting it up, here's the real answer. Who cares? Nobody cares. The 49ers are dominant and Purdy is balling. He's got the highest passer rating of any QB in the NFL this season. The Eagles held San Francisco to negative 6 yards in the first quarter, which is the fewest yards a Kyle Shanahan offense has had in the first quarter since he was living inside of his dad's testicles. Per Next Gen Stats, and the Gen stands for genetics, which makes the fact that the Philly D gave up 456 yards and 2 TDs in the following 3 quarters even more disgusting. Purdy, Debo, and CMC are 16-0 when they all play together. They're more effective than the tush push, and I'm sure Roger Goodell is working on banning them as well. Losing QB, I'm a Sam Howell fan, and I don't care who knows it, but he's had a tough go of it the last couple weeks. I'm really struggling with which NFL terror group to support, the Halliban or the Stroud Boys. Who should I pledge my allegiance to? Howell's been racking up yards all year, but had just 127 against the Dolphins and 0 TDs. He also threw a pick 6 to Andrew Van Ginkel, a Gink 6. Much easier pick 6 than the Dolphins had last week against the Jets. That's the 3rd game in a row, though, that Howell has thrown a touchdown to the wrong team, a pace that's putting him in the company of the storybook 2013 season from Matt Schaub. Howell's been sacked 58 times and will need to be dropped 4.5 times in each of the last 4 games to tie David Carr for most sacks taken in a season. Basically, you don't want to tie records with former Texans QBs. Schaub, Carr, Watson, Losing tweet, Grant Paulson, who couldn't stress enough about how bad this TD pass was to Tyreek Hill. Personally, I think hitting a receiver in stride for a 60-yard touchdown is a good throw. Tyreek took to Twitter to state that he ran the wrong route and Tua threw him open there. Please, God, please let me be in the position to complain about my QB and receiver connecting for 60-yard touchdowns. My Kirk Cousins award, awarded to the quarterback who, no matter what he did, his team still lost, goes to Geno Smith. Back on Thursday night, we were treated to the rare TNF shootout. The Seahawks showed up. DK Metcalf had the hat trick and became the largest man I've ever seen reach a speed of over 22 miles per hour. Geno Smith put pen to paper and wrote a letter detailing how he threw 3 TD passes to his big friend DK, totaling more than 334 yards through the air while getting sacked 0 times, and watched as America's team manhandled his sea chickens late. How he torched the hottest, bland corner in the game, only to get robbed by him when it mattered most, all while Jamal Adams was thinking about how he could insult every beat writer's girlfriend or wife ever. Then Geno put a stamp on his letter and mailed it off to Kirk Cousins. My sneaky winners, Matty Stafford and the Rams over the Browns. Seeing Matthew Stafford and Joe Flacco go at it is like someone hit me in the head with a rock and sent me back to 2009. A simpler time. Unless you were about to lose all of your money. But the only subprime mortgage now is Deshaun Watson's contract. Joe Flacco actually looked decent given the circumstances, but it was Stafford's 3 TDs that were the difference, including a long touchdown for Puka Nacua, which put him over 1,000 yards on the season. Hey, Cooper Kupp, get ready to learn wide receiver 2, buddy. Kyron Williams keeps churning out yards during his 3-game win streak for the Rams. He's got over 350 in his last 3 starts. Flacco actually threw a pass to seemingly tie up the game, but then Dustin Hopkins missed the extra point, followed by Flacco throwing a desperation pass that was picked off. Look, I get why he had to heave it up here, though. I do. It was 1st and 10. With almost 7 minutes left, and they were down by a single point. They needed a miracle. The Rams get the win, and they're still in the playoff hunt, while Matty Stafford wins the battle of quarterbacks that are closer to getting their AARP card than getting handed out their rookie cards. Winners, the Patriots, by way of the losing Steelers. This is the game God didn't want us to watch. 2 weather delays in this game, totaling roughly an hour and a half of delay. Kenny Pickett left the game with an ankle injury that required surgery the morning after. 10 quarterbacks totaled less than 200 yards passing this week, including the duo of Trubisky and Pickett. And the Steelers will have to try to stay in the playoff race with kissing titties at QB. Pittsburgh may have removed the free healthcare that was Matt Canada, but offensive yards without touchdowns is still an opioid addiction disguised as pain management. 16 points last week, even fewer this week with 10. And to add insult to insult, former Steeler James Conner had 105 yards on the ground and a pair of tutties against his old team. Shout out as well to a winning performer in tight end Trey McBride, the Cards' second-year tight end from Colorado State, who had 89 yards and a touchdown the same week Arizona moved on from Zach Ertz. And with that victory, Arizona just gave the Patriots the second overall pick in the draft. Speaking of, Bill Belichick and the Patriots loses. These are the Patriots without Tom Brady. The Pats became the first team since 1983 to lose 3 straight games while allowing 10 points or less in each of those losses. Bailey Zappi got the start ahead of Maca Jones and played exactly like a Maca Jones minus the interceptions. Winner, Dicker the kicker. Without him, there would have been no points in this game. Receiver Quentin Johnston dropped another pass, and if he's not careful, he's going to find himself on the Chiefs roster next year. Khalil Mack somehow leads the league in sacks, and the Chargers defense, even in a shutout, cannot convince me that they're actually good. Winners, fans of an interesting MVP race. The MVP race is about as wide open as it's ever been, possibly as wide open as Tyreek Hill was on his first touchdown against the Commanders. Hill is 519 yards away from the first 2,000-yard season by a wide receiver ever. So I think he really does have a shot to become the first receiver to win the award. Seriously, a kicker won MVP 4 decades before a wideout. But you also have to look at Christian McCaffrey, who had another touchdown in the 49ers' dominant victory, putting him at 12 on the season. And even though his numbers haven't been as eye-popping as they were before, CJ Stroud still deserves consideration to become a rookie MVP for keeping the Texans in the thick of the playoff race. But there's an opportunity here. The NFL has a chance to do something fun with the award this year. And not just fun, but fair. Mahomes isn't playing at an MVP level. You can poke holes in the Jalen Hurts argument. Let's not make this the best QB award by default. It's been since 2012 when Adrian Peterson won it, since the last non-QB got it. Back when the NFL had no problem rewarding an alleged child abuser with the MVP. Which Tyreek Hill can bring them right back to the good old days. Winning team, the Indianapolis Colts. The team no one is talking about, but is still bound for the playoffs with a backup QB by the name of Gardner fucking Minshew II. Every week that Jim Irsay says something ridiculous, it's like the Colts get stronger. And they had a thrilling victory to beat the Titans on the road in OT. Alec Pierce has been regarded as a bit of a disappointment halfway through his second year, but he had his first ever 100-yard game, literally 100 yards on the nose, thanks in big part to his 55-yarder that set up the Colts for the game winner in overtime. Both Pierce and Pittman had 100 yards, and I cannot remember the last time Indy had 200-yard receivers in the same game. Wait, yes I can, because I have the internet. 2014, Andrew Luck dealing to Colby Fleener and the Count of Dante Moncriefco. God, I miss Andrew Luck. I'll call Justin Herbert elite when he wills Quentin Johnston and Donald Parham to 100 yards in the same game, because that's basically what Luck did. This game, though, just had a bunch of cool-ass plays. King Henry broke 100, had 2 TDs early. Indy executed a perfect double reverse flea flicker. And how this game went into OT was batshit crazy. The Titans had a rare pick 2 at the end of the third quarter, but Indy had 2 incredible blocks. I don't even know if you can call the second one a block, because the punter technically wasn't even able to kick the ball, and Nick Folk missed an extra point that would have given Tennessee the lead. Instead, we get extra innings, and I will never, ever say no to more Minshew, but Folk made up for his blunder by drilling a long field goal, and he was serving double duty as a punter, by the way, at that point, which only set the stage for some of the beautiful Minshew magic to win the game and keep the Colts in the wild card spot. Losing team, Florida State, who got left out of the college football playoff despite going 13-0 and winning the ACC Conference Championship game on Saturday night, mostly because Jordan Travis got hurt. If there's anything I know from all of my years of watching football, it's that backup quarterbacks never, ever, ever, ever have any chance of winning a championship. Losers? People trying to watch the Bucs-Panthers game. Panthers were officially eliminated from the playoffs, but I've got a big award to give from this meaningless game. Best individual performer is going to one Mike Evans. And I know Bucs fans, you're still in the playoff race, but come on now. Anyway, Mike Evans had 162 yards against the Panthers, second most of any ball catcher this week, which officially gave him 1,000 yards for the 10th consecutive year in his career. He's the only NFL player to have 1,000 yards in each of his first 10 seasons. Evans is currently tied with Randy Moss, and he trails only Jerry Rice, who had 14,000 yard seasons for the most by any receiver. But Rice only had 927 as a rookie. Now this is especially impressive given Evans only had 3 seasons with Tom Brady and accumulated the rest of his Hall of Fame caliber numbers with quarterbacks Mike Glennon, Jameis Winston, Baker Mayfield, and a little bit of Fitzmagic. That's like if Daniel Day-Lewis won 2 of his Best Actor awards with Michael Bay directing his films. Winning defense, the Texans. Will Anderson was a game wrecker, and that defense netted 3 interceptions in the final 16 minutes of the game to fend off a Broncos comeback. But I did a full breakdown of that game here in the new. Biggest losers? Yeah, sorry, the cursed Jaguars, who fell to Jake Browning and the Bengals in overtime. Trevor Lawrence went down with an injury that looked very serious, but may just be an ankle sprain. That's the good news. Better news? I'm not sure why Jags fans are so worried. Did you see how good the Bengals were with their backup QB? My winning surprise performer, Jake fucking Browning. Holy hell, if you didn't watch Monday Night Football, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a backup QB ain't one. T-Law and Browning were going back and forth, toe-to-toe, putting on a show. Evan Ingram scored early, immediately ruining my underdog pick'em. Tua was playing Tears in Heaven on the Manning cast.
The Bengals jumped off sides.
Really wish he would have picked Cocaine by Clapton. But what are you gonna do? Kay Adams was predicting Jamar Chase and Trevor Lawrence touchdowns. The game was awesome. Browning's passing chart would make Tom Brady envious, all right? His 354 passing yards were more than Burrow had in any game this season. In fact, he's in a category all of his own. No other QB this season completed 80% of their passes with at least 30 attempts at 10 yards per attempt and netted at least 300 passing yards. And he joins one incredibly elite list of QBs to complete 85% of their passes in an NFL game. He had statistically the greatest performance for a backup QB ever, and the most impressive since Nick Foles in the Super Bowl. Jake Browning, you're my new jackass! Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're only 480,000 new subscribers away from hitting 1 million. You really could make a difference in my life.